Good afternoon. It's day number 312 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. And I have today's inspirational service hero. Her name is Gina Ruby uh,
Puterbaugh.
Puterbaugh. Peter, oh, Ty.
A
We said it
mouthful.
at the same time. Puterbaugh. And was introduced to Gina by a dear common friend. However, as we've been comparing notes, we know many of the same people. We have been to the same places, and I'm sure we have met each other even because, well, there's a story there, and that's the way life works. And it's not by accident that today we are celebrating Gina as our service hero because I am really excited about the fact that Chemo Buddies for Life has an opportunity now to go global. And we're going to be talking about healing through things like music, healing through things like humor and laughter, and healing through dance. Gina has a dance background and an interesting story. So I am just thrilled to have you here and welcome, Gina.
Thank you, Tamra. I mean, I love that you do this for people, and I don't really feel like a hero, but I love that somehow, some way, the platform you're using can help inspire other people and motivate them and give them hope. So
And
thank
that's
you.
what it's all about. You're welcome. Thank you for saying that because truly that's what it's all about. In fact, we have some people here right now, one of which, Joy, is here with us. Joy Cooper Willett. We have Amy Morrison. Good to
Oh,
see you,
wow.
Amy. And we have Carol, one of our Chemo Buddy for Life ambassadors. Welcome, Carol, and good evening. You have an interesting story, and we're going to get into it, and I'm going to kind of walk it through the here and now, and then we're going to take it backwards because it's really is quite inspirational. And so I love this picture. In fact, I used it for the image for today's show. Why don't you talk about this? You were just in a competition and you did quite well, right?
I did. I did. So I just did the World's Pro-Am last weekend. Thank goodness it's in Southern California, so I don't have to travel all over the world to get there, but other people did. And I got second in the Worlds, which was a huge accomplishment for me because, we'll be talking in light of last year, I didn't dance much. And I really only started ballroom dancing 2.5 years ago. But I practice every day and it's my passion and it's really been my happy place during some pretty traumatic times. So
Right. And in
I'm
fact,
excited.
right now you actually are at the studio, and so that when we are done, you will be practicing, right?
Yes, I have a lesson right after this.
I love that. And that's called dedication, and that's called passion and purpose. And
Yep.
we're going to now talk about how the significance of healing through dance really played a huge part in your personal story because not long ago you realized that there was possibly an issue, and then you found out some news. Why don't you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, so 2017, 2 years ago, about this time, I discovered a lump underneath my armpit. And I'm a health coach. I'm super healthy. I integrate healthy habits in my life. And so I ignored it. And so I feel like God kind of has plopped this in my lap to be a voice for other people, to not ignore things. I just figured it was fatty tissue. I was 54 years old. And so I ignored it for 4 months. And then fast forward to January of 2018, a friend of mine said, get it checked out. And it turned out, and it was growing at a stage 3 triple negative breast cancer, which is a bad breast cancer to have. And I was
Right.
shocked because I was telling Tamara, I didn't think I could get cancer. I didn't think healthy people got cancer. We live in a toxic world, so everybody is susceptible. Um, so I was only going to go holistic and just like dive in and not do chemo. And I talked to a lot of people. I did a lot of research, and really, for me, the better option was to combine the two: do some chemo and do holistic. So I combined the two, but while that happened, I had just started ballroom dancing a few months before that. And I want to get really good. I love to dance. I've taken ballet and jazz in the past, but this partner stuff was fun. And so I literally ballroom danced all through chemo. I had 8 treatments. I would have chemo on a Friday and I'd compete on a Sunday. And I think a lot of that is due to I did a lot of amazing holistic treatments and supplements in addition. So I never was sick. But that mindset of just saying, I'm not going to allow this.
She'll be back. Incredible, right? The idea here that and I really appreciate the fact that she is being so open and honest, which she really is a very open and honest woman, and that being a health coach and no worries about this. It happens sometimes.
Hi, sorry about
Yeah,
that. So, yeah, so I danced through it and I didn't want cancer to change my normal. It's a new normal for sure, anybody who's gone through it. But I wanted to stay as routine as I could. And I did it. I had tears, plenty of tears behind closed doors for sure, and sometimes scared, but I wanted to live life as normal as possible.
and what an example that is, and what an inspiration for so many, because it's that's a decision. That is a complete
Mm-hmm.
decision to make that. Okay, you know what? First of all, thank you for telling the story of seeing, the pea size and then, ignoring it, because I tell the story that, I didn't have a mammogram when I was scheduled to have it, and I had cancer in my family. And I should have known, but like you, I didn't see it on my radar. I just was
Right.
like, no, this is not going to be happening to me. And sure enough, that's how it was found. Thank goodness I did finally go at my senses, go and have the mammogram done. And there it was, an aggressive form of cancer, of breast cancer. And one of the things here that I think is really good, and I'm really grateful that you're talking about the triple negative. I heard 2 positive, and then the other 2 negative, and so a positive, negative, negative. And this is another message that I really want people to understand, and that is when you are going through a diagnosis, and let's say it's breast cancer, or it's this type of cancer, or that kind of cancer. Sometimes people are like, okay, let's get this done. Let's go to the oncologist and let's get the treatment started. However, they don't always understand the fact, and it's really important to understand this, that you need that second piece of the puzzle found. You need to find out what the makeup is of your particular cancer, so that you have a better chance of being treated with the right treatment, right?
Exactly, because it's an education for anybody going, because nobody really plans on getting it. And so I had to be a voracious learner of what could I do holistically. And Western medicine and holistic don't really play together, so it leaves it up to us. And in some ways I was my own guinea pig, but it certainly worked because I never was nauseous, I never had bone pain, I never had mouth sores, and I was dancing every week.
Wow.
So I really feel like there's a way we can combine the two, that people
Right.
can have a much smoother journey,
Mm-hmm.
and not just look gaunt and sick and want to give up. So,
Right. Right.
but I did. There were 4 things I did.
I
Number
would love to hear them, because you hit some of the things that I did have. And I actually did think I was being somewhat adjunctive, meaning, going traditional and some alternative, moving them together and coming up with a treatment plan that was going to work for me. And I thought, oh, I'm thinking outside the box, and being adjunctive. And yet I did end up with the mouth sores, and I did lose my voice. I now believe it was for the nonprofit that I've started, and it was something I was supposed to find. But what were those four things?
Yeah, well, the four basic things that I integrated, which I'm sure you did these things as well, is number one, just cry out to the Lord. Because when something like this happens, it's beyond ourselves. And having this deep relationship with God is critical, first. Secondly, I thought, okay, if I can't do full holistic, I'm going to do chemo. I'm going to check out the people that I trust the most. So I did things like vitamin C IV and hyperbaric chamber, all these things that studies show cancer hates. It hates oxygen, doesn't
Right,
want to boost the immune system. Definitely like curcumin and turmeric and
right,
a litany of supplements. And
right.
then the third thing I did is I maintained my routine. I didn't, sometimes I hear people quit their jobs and they go home and they get depressed. And I just wanted to live as normal. And the fourth thing, which I say is the gold thread through it all, is I'm a lemonade out of lemons girl. And I
Oh,
choose joy. I had some sad things
yeah,
happen to me
yeah,
years ago, and I played the victim for a couple months and realized that does not work.
no,
And that's was like, Gina, you can show it. You can choose bitter or you can choose joy. And
right,
that happened back in 2002. So I'm like, oh, I guess I can just go straight to choose joy. I don't have to do
right,
victim.
right,
And it's not easy. You're right. It's a choice. It's a
right,
conscious choice.
right.
When crapola hits the fan, being happy isn't your first response. So
No,
I would find one thing to be joyful about each day. And really, when you look around, there's so much to be joyful about in light
I
of that.
I love it. In fact, I'm looking to see if I can reach it. Yes, yes, yes. Just a second, guys. I'm going to get this because it's something that anybody that's watching this show actually can. Let me just get this here. Can get a copy of this because it actually talks a lot about this. It's just go to
Oh.
the chemobuddiesforlife.org
Ah,
site. It's something that I created, and it's a celebration journal full of love, health, and amazing success. And it talks about that very thing, and it just gives places to write and talk about gratitude and humor, hope, and art, and chocolate days, and how did I get here, and where am I going from here? And
yeah,
what's next? And it's just an opportunity to have a positive place to be able to go there, because some days you don't necessarily feel positive. However, to be reminded, and I love it, yes, think about something, one thing to be grateful for. And sometimes I would say, and I said it even in here, that the thing I was grateful for is that I had a bed. I was grateful
yeah,
that I had a roof. I was grateful that I
yeah,
had clean pajamas, and that I had a straw to sip the water through that I could barely sip, but I had clean water, to sip through
yeah,
the straw. And
yeah.
and and these are things that when I started counting my many blessings and naming them one by one, it was like,
Hmm.
okay, I have so many things to be
Yeah.
grateful for, even though I can't say it because don't have my voice. And
Hmm.
I had my doctor kept telling me I won the it was almost like the booby prize of the most side effects. It's like, oh,
Oh,
yay,
I
woohoo,
know. But
woohoo.
you know what? What I think is the bigger the deal and the travesty, the bigger we can use it somewhere down the road, paying it forward. And that's why
Absolutely.
I figured when this popped in my lap, I'm like, okay, Lord, we're going to use it for something bigger to help other people feel like they're not alone. That you look around, everyone looks happy, and we feel like we're dying because the disease is trying to kill us.
Right,
But there's, just got to pay it forward.
right,
And there are hundreds of blessings in a day that we just take for granted. And
right.
I thought, you know what? I can still dance. I've got my arms, my hands, my legs, my feet. I can still dance with cancer. There's a lot of people that, they're in wheelchairs and they're never going to be able to dance on
Mm,
their legs. So I just like, well, at least I can dance.
I love
To
it.
me, oh, did you put that quote up?
Yes,
It's a
yes.
great quote.
Yes, yes. And you know, and the image and just everything about you know what you're sharing, what you're doing here. And why don't you share your thoughts with this?
Well, this has been timely for last year, and then should I just share briefly what
Well,
happened
you
this
know,
year?
we'll get into there in
Okay,
a moment.
okay. But strength really, it's not what you can do now. It really is overcoming the jagged mountains that you feel like you're climbing in the meantime. Because whatever you can do, that doesn't take strength. That's just normal muscle. But when I climbed Half Dome when I was 51, so that was 5 years ago,
Wow.
and I was scared out of my mind. If anyone's ever climbed it, it's granite. There's no, you're not carabined in. And I thought, I'm crazy. My arms were on fire. You have to pull yourself up. And I, in my reality brain said, you need to quit because if you let go, you die. And
Mhm.
my risk taker brain said, suck it up, Buttercup. We're going to the top. And so I just put one foot in front of the next, in front of the next, because I was
Mhm.
fully fatigued. And when I got
Yeah,
to the top, it was amazing. And that was strength that I never knew I was capable. Because it's beyond physical strength. Now the mind is like
right,
pushing it into an even bigger gear.
right.
And I love that as strong as we think we are, there's more inside of us. And it takes sometimes some really scary things to discover that.
Exactly. Very well said. I want to talk
Yeah.
about this because I was
Oh.
fascinated. I asked you questions because it's something that I did not have an opportunity, one way or another. And anybody that is watching this that has recently been diagnosed and possibly treated for cancer may recognize what this is all about. Someone that is from, if you will, my graduating class, wink, wink, you know, which is a few more years ago. I'm now 5 years ago this month is when I started treatment, or no, started testing. Treatment was in December. So it's interesting that both of us were about this time of year, which is not an uncommon thing for breast cancer because
Hmm.
many times people decide to do the mammograms around the September, October time because it's that whole breast cancer awareness, which some people have a problem with the pink ribbon, some people don't. I'm wearing pink right now just because of the fact that, you know what, I thought we're going to be talking about this and we are going to be going into the month here soon. And one of my messages is truly don't wait to have your
Hmm.
mammogram like I did. I waited a couple of years longer than I should have. I was very lucky that it was found when it was. I am a survivor. However, if I had waited much longer, we don't know what the outcome could have been. And so I really want to start now having people think about the fact that early prevention is truly prevention and can
Hmm.
actually save your life. And it really is a huge thing, isn't it, to to know what you're dealing
Hmm.
with.
Yeah, and for me, I have fibrocystic breast, so I did thermography, but it told me something was awry, and I even ignored that. So you're right. I mean, if you get whether it's mammogram or thermography, if there's something that doesn't look right, get it checked out.
Exactly.
Oh.
The joke is in my household, I had a duck for a while because of an ultrasound. Whatever the testing procedure is, you know, go about it. So tell us about this cap.
So I wanted to keep my hair. I told Tamara earlier, I just own it. I'm vain and I like my hair. And so my stepdaughter had told me about this cold cap thing that breast cancer patients can use that will keep the hair. Basically, I got my hair wet. I put this freezing cap on. It runs freezing water, and it freezes the chemo so that it can't kill the fast acting cells. And it's a 4 hour migraine. It's brutal. The pain is horrible. Um, but I guess that shows how vain I am because I endured it. And it actually worked. It worked the first 3 months. And then the last month, I lost some hair right on top of my head. And so then I never shaved my head because I didn't want cancer to make me shave my head. So I had a mullet and eventually had to cut it. But it did salvage a lot of my hair. And unfortunately for those of us who go through cancer, it's out of pocket. So it's very
Right.
expensive
Right.
and
Right.
insurance doesn't cover it. So, I
So
would
it's
love to change some things where everybody has a choice to
right.
do something if they want it.
Right. Well, you know what?
But
Capitol Hill and the insurance company, just
yes,
wait. You're going to be
I
hearing
think they
from.
messed around with the wrong girls, Tamra.
That's
We're on
right.
it.
That is
On
right. They are going to be so excited to see us coming.
Yes, yes.
Because the bottom line is this: we need to have a fair playing field, and if that's what's going to really help someone to get their gumption together and to fight this thing, then we should be able to let those that have the technology is out there, guys. Let's let it be a fair playing field, and
Yes.
that it
Yep.
shouldn't be only those that can afford to get it out of their pocket, get those greenbacks out of their
Right.
pocket and pay for it, should be the only ones that should be able to have their hair, should they choose. I was
Yeah.
actually teasing with Gina. I'm like, I was okay not getting that ice cream headache thing going on, because I was okay with losing my hair, because I actually like my hair better now than, but it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing that. And it's so great to have some of our strong female friends showing up, and
Aw.
Cosette, one of our ambassadors, and Andrea, one of the next Impactor from season one candidates that came, that were there in the same field as I was when we were over the last many months. So let's continue. So you had amazing support going through your
Mhm.
cancer issue.
I did. I feel very blessed. My parents live here. Um, my husband was amazing. I mean, just my biggest hero ever. And then my brother and sister-in-law live here too. So they live in Alpine. And I was blessed to have family to come be with me because I'd see those chemo patients every other Friday, and some of them were all by themselves. It
Right,
just made my heart sad.
right.
And definitely strong church support. And I have boatloads of friends. I actually never had anybody come and sit with me at my chemo. I thought I'd have like all my friends all lined up for all my appointments. But I just had my family because I had such an excruciating headache that I just would try to sleep it off as best I could. So it was like, they offered, but I just kept myself as productively busy as I could so that I didn't feel like the disease was winning. Even if I had passed away, I was going to live life to the fullest every single day.
And I love that. In fact, that is such an important piece that so many don't get until they're in the middle of it. And when you were
Yeah.
talking about those that were in the chemotherapy room and that they were all alone, that is one of the main purposes for the nonprofit that I have, Chemo Buddies for Life. And again, anybody that doesn't know, it doesn't matter what type of treatment you decide to go for, be it traditional, alternative, or adjunctive, like what Gina was talking about, combination. Our stand is, don't do it alone. Have a buddy.
Yeah.
Be a part
Yeah.
of the community, because having someone there and people there with you can make a big, huge difference. And then to be able to share things like, okay, how did you handle it? Oh, wow, what about that hat, that cap? I'm
Yeah.
curious. And being able to talk about things that, now both of us understand the triple negative, triple positive, positive, negative, negative. We
I
get that because
know.
That's our lingo. Now, someone that's new to the world of breast cancer, they're like, what? You know,
Yeah.
and not all cancer patients, and especially throughout the world, that are breast cancer patients, even to this day, understand the drill down of the three different categories. And we
Yeah.
need to make it much more of an even playing field in that too. And that's part of the education and part of getting out there with this message. And so grateful that you're
Yeah.
sharing it with me. Now,
Yeah.
one of your biggest fans, if you will, and one of your family members that you had there with you, you were sharing that your brother really was a champion for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's amazing. He's 3 years older than me, and I have four big brothers, so that's why I'm kind of scrappy. And he was always the protector. So my brothers
Mm-hmm.
picked on me. He always protected me. And he went to Annapolis, was, a helicopter pilot for 20 years. And really one of my great business mentors. So I feel so blessed that he and his wife live here in San Diego. And he sat with me at all my chemo treatments last year. Just a huge heart. And then this past February, so just a few months back, he had a lump in his armpit. So we're like, well, you better get checked out because cancer seems to be showing up. And he had had stage 1 melanoma back in 2004, so a long time ago. So when he got checked out in February, it was stage 3 melanoma, which melanoma is a nasty one.
Yeah.
And so we're like,
For anybody that doesn't know, it's the skin cancer. And of all the skin cancers, it is the if you will, scary skin cancer.
yeah, yeah. So he had it removed and some nodes. So I had a mastectomy last September, removed some nodes. He was going to get, he got this removed and some lymph nodes, and did the PET scan. He was clean in February. It was great. Like, yay! And he was going to do some immunotherapy. And then in April, he had severe rib cage pain, like horrific. So he went and got it checked out, had a PET scan, and the PET scan showed that he was just riddled with cancer in his liver and his lungs and his spine. And it was brutal. And we're like, you know what? The bigger the problem, the bigger we're going to, call out to God and fight this.
Mhm.
And, we gave it a valiant fight, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and it just started going south. So he was in the hospital most of April, and then we brought him home to Alpine in May to, because a lot of times when people go home, they get better, and he was starting to get better, and then it just 3 weeks into it, it got worse and worse. So unfortunately for us, he passed away May 31st. Heaven certainly got an amazing angel, but it's sad. You know,
Yeah,
that's why I just want to be on this mission to help eradicate cancer so that nobody has to say goodbye to a loved one.
right.
So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
It's never easy.
Mm-mm.
It just isn't. And thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your brother's story. And one of the pieces that you shared with me in regards to your brother's story also was that you continued dancing during that,
Yes,
right?
I
I need to
did.
bring back this picture of the saying again because I want this to really sink into people that you decided to be strong and courageous and have that strength when some of the most difficult of things were happening in your world, and you found your way of healing through it, and it was through dance.
Yeah, dancing through my cancer kind of made sense, but dancing through my brother's cancer, I did feel a little guilty at first, and I thought, is this right? Should I go and be happy when I'm the saddest I've ever been? And then I realized, well, he doesn't want me sitting at home crying 12 hours a day. And I wouldn't want somebody to do that if I had passed away. So I thought, I'm going to give myself an emotional break and go and get some exercise. Dance is so therapeutic, emotionally, spiritually, all that. And and there's nothing to feel guilty about. And and I'm sure there's people that will watch this that have family members that are ill, and
Mhm.
you feel a little guilty having fun when somebody is dying,
No,
but it's not needed guilt. We
no,
have to take care of ourselves
right.
so that we're okay for other people. And so I found, like, wow, I can go and do that, and my brother would be happy that I'm doing it. And so I did it, and then I would go home and be sad and cry. So it's okay. I have,
Mhm.
I miss my brother every day, and when I think about him, it makes me teary. But he's definitely in a way better place than we are, and I'm going to see him again
Right,
someday. You know.
right,
In the
right.
meantime, I dance for him. Whenever I had a competition last week, and I'm like, "Here I am, Brandon. I know you have a front row seat." So
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And isn't that, I had one of those epiphanies also this last week, and I felt the same thing about my mom. My mom having a front row seat, and my mom passed away of multiple myeloma, and one of the other cancers, skin. I mean, that's a bone marrow cancer, and just it's interesting. I didn't tell you this before, but my brother also is a survivor of cancer, but his cancer was melanoma, and so it's
Hmm.
really interesting how these things happen, and I'm grateful for you sharing your story about, because we would call you a patient buddy because of going through it yourself, and then as the support person for your brother, you would be a support buddy. And it's so important for us to be able to share with the support buddies that they do need to have self-care. They do need to be able to find their joy and humor, hope, and heart, and they need to be able to say, I can do this, and then in doing this I will show up better for that person that I love and support. I will be much more refreshed and be able to do whatever it is, because the support people and the doctors and the nurses have educated me and have made this message very strong for me to share, and that is that those support people that take it on, and they don't go out there and share with someone that they may be able to, that might be able to understand, like a buddy, or they don't do self-care, or they don't get enough sleep, or eat right, or drink enough water, some of these basic things, because, oh, I can't drink enough water because I'll have to go to the bathroom. If I have to go to the bathroom, I won't be there for the patient. I mean,
Hmm.
that is actually creating a whole subset of issues, that we are losing some of our support buddies before we
Hmm.
even lose the patient buddies, because if they are coming to cancer with not even in the best of health, and then they're not taking care of themselves, then we are losing some of our support buddies, and we
Wow.
need to really be conscious of this. And so you're sharing this story, and when you told me about the fact that you were dancing, through it too, and it was helping you, and therapeutically, to be able to get those places, the serotonin in our brain, and you're a health coach, all of the needed things that we
Yeah.
need to be able to do to be able to show up in our best self when we
Yeah.
are there to support, our patient buddy. And if our patient ends up getting their wings and going
Hmm.
on, then those other support buddies, because there's, many times there's multiple family members, multiple friends, multiple people that are affected by this disease known as
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah.
And when one domino can say, okay, I I'm going to do this, and if by chance it's not well received, but in truth, many times it's like they're watching and it's like, okay, maybe they're going to say something, but really when they see that, oh, she's handling things much better, this may there might be something to this. And that is such an inspiration, an example, and a service hero. I just want you to understand that the reason when we visited and you were sharing with me all of this, I thought, oh my goodness, we need you to share your story
Oh,
because
thank
of the
you.
fact that you are truly a service hero for both sides of our buddies, the patients
Mm,
and those people that love and support them. Now,
yeah.
I know that you have a deep belief, and I know that has got to help. You went on, you decided to go ahead and put your name in the ring, or in, and put your name out there to for the for this event. You won
Yeah.
second place.
Yeah. So
And
second, most people want to go. I wanted to take first, of course, and I gave the girl a run for her money. Um, but in this case, I was thrilled with second because the other lady had been dancing for 10 years, and she was amazing. And I just started this whole craziness. So second in worlds is for me. I love it. Now I'm going to go for first next time. Well, I went for first this time, but I'm determined to get first. But I was so thrilled. That was a huge gift because I danced my tush off, and it was a blast.
I just want to say, yay! I mean,
Thank you.
second, first. I mean, we're talking the world. We're talking
Yeah,
a world competition, and just because it was in your backyard doesn't diminish the fact that it's a
I
world
know.
competition,
I know. Yeah.
and it's huge. Now, we were talking about this, and it's not cheap to do this, is it?
No, ballroom is a pretty expensive sport with lessons and dresses and hair and makeup. I mean, I had no idea when I started this. I just was like, oh, I like to dance, and then got hooked. So, and I've always loved to dance. I've always wanted to dance like the ladies on Dancing with the Stars, and I have an amazing pro who's my instructor and my dance partner, and after going through cancer, I told him I want to go big. I want and use my breast cancer story to help inspire other people to do what they want to do that's big. If it's
Mhm.
being a sculptor, if it's being a golfer, if it's being a writer, whatever it is, reach for the stars. And so, yeah, it's not cheap, and I'm trying to figure out how can I work this so that I can have not just dance and be great, but help other people, motivate, inspire, show other people it can be done.
Right. And when you were talking about that, I'm thinking, oh yes, there's got to be a way. And do any of the dancers ever have sponsors? And
Yeah. So the pros all have sponsors, and I even Googled, sponsors for amateurs. And I haven't found anything, or if there's scholarships for people who've you know, been through some pretty traumatic stuff, come out the other end and want to do something big. And I haven't found anything, but it doesn't mean something like that doesn't exist. So when you and I were talking, I'm like, is there a philanthropist that just wants to help, cancer survivors? I like to call ourselves survivor.
I love that.
Do something big, or is there a post-cancer recovery, second chance to do something? Wow. I
Yeah.
feel like there's something out there possibly, but so if anybody knows of anything like that, I would love to be sponsored and just have a voice and a presence to help other people go for their dreams.
You
You
know,
know?
I didn't know you danced, Amy. That doesn't surprise
Yay,
me,
Amy!
not at all.
I
Um,
know the lessons are spendy, girlfriend.
and
Yes.
and as I'm sitting here and thinking, and I'm thinking that Mary, you may know someone, or and she'll know who I'm talking about, or because she knows sponsor, or like when it comes to educational type of situations, and yes, Linda,
Hi,
Sunshine
Linda.
West, yes. Thank you for connecting us. We
Yes.
immediately just decided go online because there's no time like now because this message needs to be heard, and the inspiration that it holds, I know, is huge. And please hashtag live, hashtag replay. Those of you that are buddies and you want to share that you are, please hashtag buddies. If you don't, but we know you're there. Wink, wink. Thank you for being here, um, and share it out. Share it out with people that need this message of hope, and that in living your life the best that you can, going through something as big as scary as cancer, either as the patient or a support person, you know, it's one of the very best things that we can do, because I know that my doctors and nurses shared with me the fact that if you believe in your soul and your heart that you're going to get better, it really helps so much. That intention is so important. And then to not do it alone, to have a community. It has been found that in the UK, they did a study in 2017, Cambridge, July, go check it out, the journal, that if you choose to face cancer alone, your percentage of living 5 years or longer has been diminished. So don't do that.
Interesting.
Be a part
Yeah.
of a buddy system. Be a chemo buddy for life. Doesn't matter what type of treatment. Again, however, don't do it alone. So,
Yep.
got surprised with a dance. Oh, with a dance at the finale.
Nice.
Yeah, you did. Yes, Coach Jason and my public service announcement co-host for the Fusion Project, Amy Morrison, who is now taking it over, and she is the lead for the Fusion Project for their social media team. Um,
Cool.
they danced. It was quite fun.
You know what's funny is I just kind of put two and two together. I didn't plan this, but my dress is pink. So how much more appropriate? I didn't
Yeah,
get it because it's a breast cancer color, but it certainly works.
yes,
And
it
and the
does.
flip side too is I'm 56 years old, so I don't have 20 years to get really good and take a few lessons. That's why I'm so aggressive on wanting to just be just a fire starter on doing something the second half of life, you
Right,
know,
right.
and be one of those 90-year-olds kicking it on the dance floor.
I love it.
Why not?
I love it. And I am in your generation too. Wink, wink. And it's like I'm all out. Everybody knows. And I think that it's a combination in my mind, and I hope that many are seeing the inspiration in this. And that is, when you've been through something as big as facing your own
Death.
possible death,
Yeah.
and you have others in your family, both of us, that have faced and actually have
Mm-hmm.
earned their wings from this six-lettered word. I have two family members that have. It brings a whole different awareness to time and being all into something. And so the fact that you have found something that brings you so much joy in healing through dance, and that you are such an inspiration. Oh, we've got another one in our age group. I already knew that, though. Wink, wink, Linda.
I know. I think she and I, we knew we were the same age, like we met 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm just loving the engagement from everybody, guys, because this is what makes it fun. We have a fun party here at the Service Hero Show, because you know what, life is just way too short to not appreciate each other and to celebrate when someone is doing some really cool things. And it, I love this. Sharing the love.
One thing my brother did, because I saw him pass. I've never seen somebody go from the side to heaven before, and it's weird that it was my brother. But the day before he passed, he was still funny, And
Mm,
I think in his heart of hearts, he probably knew he was going,
right.
but he still was humorous with us. And laughter was such a good emotional break for all of us that, again, sometimes people might feel guilty being funny or laughing. And he was funny. Before he became unresponsive, he was funny up till the end. And that is like a lifesaver. I love laughter. And it's important to do it. As sad as we are, as sometimes as mad as we might get, laughter is such a good brain shift. So just to encourage any listeners out there, I say 5 minutes a day of laughter. If you're sad, at least put 5 minutes in.
Absolutely. In fact, what we say too at Chemo Buddies is we say, "Have you had your daily dose of laughter today?"
Good.
And and that is so incredibly important. In fact, in our little journal here, in fact, I just turned to it. Oh, okay. And
There
there's
we go.
little sayings on the top of each some of these. And so here's one: humor. Okay. All right. So let me just get rid of this. Okay. So humor. This is one of my sayings, and I just turned to it. I am not the funny one. My laugh is. I never understood as a child why the fingers would point at me. Now I get it. Yes, I laugh like a donkey. It's like, okay. And if we can't laugh at ourselves, if we can't just make it fun and say, okay, I'm not going to take myself too serious. And one time I was talking with one of our buddies, and I asked the question, have you laughed since you've heard those words? And she's like, no, I don't dare laugh. And I started laughing right then. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And laughter can be contagious. And so she started busting up. And I'm like, you're giving that 6-letter word all the power when you take the fact that the joy, and you were talking about joy and how Joy's name is so cool, but joy, taking the joy out of life, you're taking that laughter out, and I love the fact that you shared that your brother um laughed like a donkey. Yeah, I know it's funny, but it wasn't when I was a kid. It's just a story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Linda, we
Oh,
all
thank you.
have we all have stories. And stay, yeah, laugh like a donkey. That's so funny. Yeah.
She said
Yeah,
that.
it is.
And
And and as we start to bring this together, and I'm just so grateful that you chose to share with us today. I really want to encourage those of you watching the show, again, hashtag live, hashtag replay, if you know someone that would possibly be interested in teaming with Gina and helping her to achieve her dream and her goal of being the world's, going back this next year and being number one, let's do it. Let's get behind her. I mean, let's do this as buddies. Let's do this and and help make it happen, because what an inspiration. That, can you imagine, like, a whole group of buddies showing up and cheering on, woohoo, our dancing buddy that's out there and inspiring us, because I already asked, and Jess, she already said yes, that we're going to have a few different shows where Gina will come on, and we'll talk about healing through dance, and we'll talk about a variety of other things, and we're doing this, guys. I mean, this movement's going global. We all know that now. We know we've got the platform that is going to make it happen, and we don't know exactly how it looks yet. However, we're going to be finding that out here soon. Wouldn't it be amazing for us to, within our group of buddies, and as we build it out and as we go global, that we encourage each other to achieve our dreams, our goals, live outside the box, inspire each other, and just break the chains that this 6-letter word has held on way too many people. We can make it happen. So, who's in?
yay! Oh, let me plug this in. I love that. And I figure, I mean, thank you for letting me even share that, because I'm not usually one to say, who wants to pay for my dancing? That's weird. But I mean, I want to represent a, a tribe of women who want to bust down the walls. And I don't know how to do that, but I have the desire. And I'm a hard worker, man. So
There you
we'll
go.
see. We'll see what,
And
what seeds are planted and
yeah,
what
and I'm
happens.
going to encourage one thought here, and that is a group of buddies, because we support all cancers in all stages. And so your brother would be, with melanoma, because I come from a family of 5 people, 4 generations, all different cancers. So you see, we don't discriminate when it comes to which cancer anybody has. Yes, I may be wearing pink
Right.
right now because we both are pink ribbon, and we're going to be going into it, and we're going to be talking a lot about that over the next period of time, guys, because I want someone that was like me, sitting in the chair and hearing, okay, have you had your mammogram, or have you been tested, and say, ooh, I know they're talking to me. Oh, I know, I know. I want them to be feeling that right now, because being tested saved my life. Let's just get it out there. Early detection can help you to become a new normal. You may never be the same person, but you can be better. And look at the two of us. I mean, I just won an international contest to become the first next Impactor. Gina just won the second prize place in an international contest to be the top. It's Latin dancing, right?
Yes, Latin. Yep.
Latin.
Yep.
So you're watching two cancer survivors that have been through, you know what? You said it. Go ahead. HE what?
HE double toothpicks.
Yeah. We
Or
both
HE
have
double
been
hockey
there.
sticks.
We both have been there. And both have survived it. So guys, there's no excuse. There's no
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah, yeah.
None. We're
And
gonna do this.
and I'm going to talk more about this on my Facebook too, but I'm not opting to do reconstructive. I think that's great if other people want to, but it's just not for me. And I'm like, you know what? I can still kind of wear a sexy dress and only have one breast. Yay. I just own it. So, all that to say, that could have put me back too. Like, oh no, my body's deformed or whatever. It's not deformed. It's missing a boob. Oh well.
You know what? And I
Carry
love
on.
that. I love that. I lost my hair. You kept yours.
Yep.
You have not done reconstruction. I have. All personal choices. There's
Yep.
no one size fits all here, guys. It's all a personal choice.
Yep.
And having education is a huge piece of that. So be watching, because there's some really good stuff coming from Chemo Buddies for Life. Again, doesn't matter what treatment, just don't do it alone. And there are
Yeah.
going to be some amazing things coming around the corner here shortly. And we are building our community, we're building our tribe, and we are going to support each other. So let's support our dear buddy, wink wink, Gina, to
Yay!
find some help with her dancing, and so she can be #1 this next year. And then let's be there to support her. Let's do it.
I
Okay.
would love that. I love this. And you are such an amazing woman, Tamara. So thank you for using your voice for so much good. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
It's my pleasure. It's because, you know what? We're in this together, guys. It's, one day at a time is so absolutely true. There's a group that says that, but we can adopt that in so many different platforms, and it's true. And together we can make such a huge difference. And if we're supporting each other, there is no end. There's no end to the possibilities that will take place throughout the world. We may just even see that 6-letter word disappear at some point. Yes, we'll have to recover from it generationally. However, wouldn't that be a great challenge? That 6-letter word is gone, and then we're going to recover, and we're going to even be stronger for it.
Yes.
The possibilities are endless. And if we take the power back, boy, you know what? This movement is going forward, and we're going to do it together. So I'm so
Mm.
grateful that you are one of our service heroes, Gina.
Yay! Well, thank you, Linda. I mean, this was just 24 hours ago that this all happened. So it was meant to be. I feel like you're a kindred spirit. And so thank you, Linda. Hope
Yes,
she's
yes,
still
yes.
on.
Yes, she is. She is. In fact, she's saying hi. She's like being Miss Hostess with the mostest, saying hi to everybody, which,
She's
thank you
so
very
cute.
much. And Nadira, she's also a service hero. And yes, dancing through or healing through dance. And we're going to be doing a lot more of the healing through now that we won the next Impactor, and we're going to have resources
Woo.
to go forward and take this global. It's pretty incredible what's coming around the corner, guys. So just be watching, because
Awesome.
it's going to happen. All of these dreams. See, I believe in dreams, and I believe in goals, and I believe in supporting each other. And so many people supported this dream of taking a tribe, a community of people that are not going to roll over and, if you will, play dead. We're not. We're not going to let that happen. If we're taken because it is our time, that's different. However, that we can together help each other through the dark times, to shed the light, and do it with some humor, hope, and heart. Hey, that
Yeah.
really works. And if you need a chocolate day every once in a while, yeah, those are too. You can read about
Yeah.
it in the celebration journal. All right.
Yummy.
Is there any last things that you'd like to share before we close down our show today?
Well, I appreciate the men and women that showed up today that care. And if you I can't imagine they haven't been affected by cancer in some way by somebody they know. But just for the future, rally around, have conversations, be open to laugh and encourage, and not be afraid to talk about it. Because I know before I had it, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know what to say, but it's just a thing. And, there's so much more in life to focus on than the disease. Be proactive, of course, but really just live life to the fullest every single day, whether you're dealing with this or not. That's really what our passion and our purpose should be anyway.
I agree
So
100%. Well, as we close today, day number 312 of 365 Days of Awesome, celebrate success through service. Gina, you are just absolutely an inspiration. Your
oh,
story and your ability to be so real and open with your complete story, I know is going to inspire so many. It's inspired me. And the fact that you are able to go out there and be a representative and share healing through dance, I am so thrilled that you are a part of our group. And let's make sure that you get out there and that you get to win this next year
thank you.
and be able to share with those that maybe are going to be watching from, if you will, even in their beds, and
Mm.
rooting on someone saying, yes, that's my girl. Yes, I know she's doing it. Yes, I'm there with you. Because if one of us is doing it, all of us are doing it. And together we can change the way cancer is done. Thank you, Gina.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Tamra.
Everybody have a great evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.